large, expressive eyes, big, floppy ears, a small but sturdy dog. Beagles are full of energy, but friendly and docile as well. Everything that makes a beagle a perfect family dog also makes it a perfect fit for lab experiments. Every year, hundreds of beagles are rescued or released from labs across India. They have never known freedom. After spending years in confinement, enduring pain and fear, these beagles are now looking for a home and a chance to be a dog again. Beagles were first bred in the United Kingdom in the late 1800s as hound dogs for hunting. They became popular as family dogs thanks to their docile nature and small size. But by the 1950s, beagles began to be used extensively in laboratory experiments, a terrible price to pay for being such good dogs. To this day, beagles are used in laboratory experiments across the world, mainly to measure various toxins, from pesticides to pharmaceuticals, that affect human beings. In India, the data for the exact number of beagles used in laboratories is unavailable. According to a government rule, laboratories can run tests on beagles for 3 years and not more. Once done, they are retired from work. This is when agencies such as Freagles of India step in.
Beagles of India is an organization which was registered in the year 2017 with the primary objective of working with the rehabilitation and adoptions of beagles who are coming to us from research labs across the country.
Today, Chintana Gopinath runs a dedicated facility for freed beagles in North Bengaluru. Most of the dogs that arrive at Freedom Farmhouse have never seen the outdoors, breathed fresh air, or felt the earth under their paws. For the past decade, Chintana has dedicated her life to building a safe haven for these scared and vulnerable dogs.
Back in, I think, Jan or Feb 2013, 102 beagles were retired from a research lab here in Bangalore. And a local NGO, CUPA, was entrusted with the responsibility of finding homes for these dogs. I wanted to kind of help them to find, a home, share on my social media handle and things like that. And I had no intention of taking home one, right? Among those dogs, there was one dog in particular. She was really tiny. Very, very, very scared of human beings. Like if a person was even standing up, she would immediately cower, to the ground, start drooling, very scared. I don't know what courage she got. Suddenly she kind of came crawling and just climbed and sat in my lap. And it was a feeling that I still don't have words for. And I knew that this dog I was going to take home. She knew nothing about how to be a dog. Like she didn't know to climb the stairs. She didn't know how to interact with people. She didn't know how to interact, with things in the home. If you sneezed loudly, she would get scared and run off. So she just did not know how to be a dog. And I had no idea about what it entails to take care of a laboratory retired beagle. Knowledge was non-existent back in the day. And through her journey is when I learned, hands-on what it is like to bring a laboratory beagle out from their shell and to help them develop confidence in themselves.
Freagles of India is home to nearly 100 beagles. The youngest one is this cutie called Imli, who is 7 months old, and the oldest is 12 years old. Bred to be hunting dogs, these beagles are genetically predisposed to be physically and mentally active. If allowed, a beagle can stay active for hours on end, which eventually compromises its immune system. The team at Freedom Farmhouse works towards creating a new routine that balances play and makes sure that these dogs get enough rest. The rescued dogs are let out early in the morning in different packs so that they don't end up quarreling. Freshly cooked breakfast is served at 9, followed by more play. The beagles are made to take a nap for 4 hours in the afternoon, and in the evening they are fed again, followed by a romp before they sleep. This routine also helps to prepare the scarred and anxious beagles for their new homes.
So, beagles that come out from the laboratory, especially in the beginning, are very overwhelmed. Because they've lived in a very sterile environment. The only humans they have interacted with are with masks, caps, coats. They haven't seen full features, they haven't seen long hair, they haven't seen earrings, they haven't felt touch from the skin. It's all, people wearing gloves. So when they come out, they're very overwhelmed, like the tree, the soil, the sun, the breeze, all the scents that are, hitting their nostrils, everything is new. So there are two stereotypical behaviors. Some of them pace a lot, which is a classic sign of stress. Some of them just sit in corners frozen because it's too much information that's coming their way. They can mark a lot, wherein they're lifting their leg up and just peeing everywhere. That is why we never do adoptions as soon as they come out of the lab, because these are not behaviors that an average adopter will be able to cope with or deal with. Once all of these behaviors kind of settle down and they start getting comfortable in their environment is when we start introducing them to various aspects such as treats, such as toys, desensitizing them to the use of a leash. So once all of this rehab process is done is only then when they go home.
Freagles of India have a meticulous adoption process. The first step for interested candidates is a detailed form that collects information about the prospective dog parent's family as well as living arrangements. Suitable applicants are called for a detailed conversation.
So the phone call is typically, to set the expectations of what they're getting into. We break down the caregiving needs in a very practical, black and white, non-romantic way. So what they need to feed, what they need to do in terms of helping them adapt, and particularly with laboratory beagles, they are at very high flight risk. So security measures in the home need to be very stringent. So if it's a balcony, it needs to be netted. We expect them to put a baby gate at the main door. The dog has to always have a collar with the name tag with the adopter's number on it, so that in case they do manage to escape, then they can be found. The tools that are used for walking a freagle, we tell them to use only a martingale collar with a leash because it's very secure, they can't get out of it. So these are all the expectations that we set. And this high flight risk typically is in the first few months because the dog doesn't know that this is a person that I can trust, this is a person who will take care of me.
Aditi and Prasanna adopted their first freagle in 2016. Over the next few years, they adopted 2 more, going as far as to rent a larger apartment and cooking non-vegetarian food for the beagles.
What most people don't seem to understand is that freagles are not your regular dogs, right? They won't just, come and fall all over you and, listen to what you have to say, etc. And I think people are so used to seeing dog videos, and the internet is so full of them, where, you do something and the dog dances or sings or, fetches a newspaper for you, looks after babies, etc. And most people assume that because they're freagles, they'll also be the same way. They are not. Absolutely not. They have to learn everything new for the first time. So when you got Loki and when you got Nico for that matter, we had to teach them, or rather they taught us as well, everything. They didn't quite know what a house was, and this much space was very intimidating. Mirrors were intimidating, bowls, water, leash walking, steps, everything was intimidating. And my dogs would not go into the balcony at all because there's suddenly fresh air and sound and birds and neighbors in an apartment, etc. It was a big learning curve, but once they pick up, right, once they realize that you are their friend and they can trust you, they trust you with so much heart. After that, it's quite frightening actually how much they can trust you. They're so in tune with you. And once Loki learned that, once he learned that he could trust us and we will not do anything to him, personality just opened up, and he discovered such joy with living with us, and he's taught us so much. And when people say dogs change your life, I completely agree with them. And when we got Nico as well, very different personalities, very, very different. No dogs are the same. And every day we learn something new from them. Every day they teach us something new. So it's been a pretty incredible journey these last few years with them.
The use of beagles in laboratory testing has sparked ethical debates globally. Including beagles, estimates show that more than 100 million animals are still caged in research laboratories.
So these are all very expensive studies, but inhumane studies, because in the dogs, when we do toxicology studies, we have to sacrifice them.
For over 3 decades, Subramaniam Vengala worked with global companies like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson in drug discovery and development. In December 2019, he co-founded Reagene Innovations Private Limited, a Hyderabad-based startup to explore alternate technologies that can replace animal testing.
95% of the clinical trials fail. Either they don't reproduce the pharmacology in the animals, or they don't reproduce the toxicology in the animals. There is a lot of question today that why are we using these animals, especially in the perspective of the animal welfare, why are we using these animals when these animal data is not correlating for the human successful outcomes. So that is the reason why now we are approaching for alternatives to animal models.
Across the globe, there are new technologies that have the potential to replace animal-based trials. The most advanced ones, like organoids and organs on a chip, which are small functional devices that mimic the structure and function of human organs like the heart, lung, and kidney. The ultimate goal is to create the whole human physiology on a chip.
These kind of technologies requires a lot of money. The challenge India faces today is the funding for this kind of research. The other model that works is that, so for example, companies like Pfizer, J&J, Merck in the US have an innovation fund. So if they go and invest to about maybe $1 million in 10 companies per year, and one of them is going to make a blockbuster drug. And that kind of mentality is not there. Even pharma companies like Sun Pharma, Reddy Labs, Biocon, all these companies have to come and fund small companies like us so that we do the ground research and they can take these products into their shop and develop them.
These beagles were never meant to survive because they were bred for experiments destined for pain and death. Now safe at Freedom Farmhouse, they have escaped the lab and they just need a chance at love.
A lot of people think that, okay, maybe because they've been used in testing, they might have some diseases. Now, if they have any physical ailment or psychological damage from having been used in testing, the laboratories euthanize them. So the dogs that come out for rehabilitation are healthy dogs. So we've had laboratory beagles live up to 16, 17, 18 is also not unheard of. So they live really well when they come out.
If you want to adopt a furry friend, would you consider a freagle? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to Deccan Herald's YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to receive notifications for more such videos. Thank you for watching.